Scoob is the latest Warner Brothers animated film. It's out on VOD right now. It was going to go out to theaters, but it's not anymore due to obvious reasons. I got a chance to check it out today, so let's talk about it. Now, this film is obviously based on the Saturday morning TV cartoon Scooby-Doo by Bill Hanna and Joseph Barbera. Admittedly, I watched a couple of Scooby-Doo cartoons as a kid, I can recall, but I didn't watch it religiously. I still enjoyed it. And I definitely did enjoy this film, which I'll get into in a minute. But I feel like for those of you that really feel nostalgic about Scooby-Doo are going to love this film. The film basically starts off as an origin story. It shows how Scooby and Shaggy met each other as youngsters. And eventually we see them grow older along with Fred, Daphne, and Velma. And they've solved a bunch of mysteries at this point. And this film sees them tackle what is arguably their most challenging, biggest mystery ever. A plot to unleash a gigantic ghost dog upon the world. Along the way, the gang are helped by the second Blue Falcon superhero, voiced by Mark Wahlberg. And they also encounter a villain named Dick Dastardly. What a great name. Voiced by Jason Isaacs, who, as the name implies, goes around doing dastardly, villainous things to stop the gang from achieving their objectives. That's a great description, isn't it? Joking aside, I was definitely very, very surprised by how much I liked this movie. The animation is the first thing I gotta praise. Beautiful, beautiful animation, just very, very colorful as well. Really pleasant movie to look at. Loads of exaggerated movements from these characters as well as a true homage to the slapstick nature of Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Speaking of, there were a lot of action sequences in this film, which were really fun to watch. The spaceship designs were really cool. The Mystery Machine looked phenomenal. Very, very colorful in this film. And the voice casting in this film, phenomenal and so on point. I mentioned Mark Wahlberg as Blue Falcon and Jason Isaacs earlier, but as far as the gang goes, spectacular casting. Will Forte as Shaggy, of course, definitely very lovable, definitely very dopey. You also have Gina Rodriguez as Velma, Amanda Seyfried as Daphne, both very good in those roles. Zack Efron as Fred, need I say more? And Frank Welker, of course, lots of fun as Scooby-Doo. Fun fact, he was the original Fred from the 1969 cartoon. Man, that's some awesome range. And no spoilers, of course, but there is one celebrity cameo playing themselves in this film. They first show up near the end of the first act. Let me just say, I was amazed. I had no clue this person was in the movie, but nevertheless, it brought a smile to my face, and I think you guys are really gonna love it. One of the things that I feel like is praiseworthy about this film is how funny it was. There were a lot of pop culture references that I understood, and they made sense. I love that. Point being, I feel like there's a lot of comedy in here that I feel like people of all ages can enjoy. Lots of comedy for the kids, lots of comedy for the adults. I was very pleasantly surprised by this movie. That's not to say, unfortunately, that the movie is devoid of issues, because I do have a couple of issues with Scoob overall. Now, I know the whole idea behind animation is to make the implausible plausible. However, there were a couple of moments in this film that I felt like were a little bit too implausible. Just as an example, near the beginning of the film, a police officer approaches Shaggy and Scooby, and he basically is asking Shaggy about the dog's name. And he gives the dog the first name, of course. He, of course, is looking down at the Scooby snacks. You might have seen that scene in the trailer. And then the cop asks him for the middle and the last name of the dog. Never once in my entire life have I heard of a police officer asking for the middle and last name of a dog. I just thought that was a funny little thing. I can't grade the film too harshly for that little implausibility, but it was just something that I couldn't help but notice. Also, no spoilers. Near the end of the film, the movie also makes a really interesting, gutsy choice. And honestly, it came off really heartwarming. I was really touched by this moment. But then, just as quickly as it happened, the movie quickly backs off from that choice. And unfortunately, at that point, it just came off like lazy storytelling. I just wish that moment could have been explained a little bit better. That being said, I definitely had a much better time with Scoob than I was anticipating, and I'm going to give it a B. I think this is a very fun distraction for the entire family to enjoy. There's a lot of really funny moments that everyone can understand. There's a lot of really exciting action, really fun character moments. Unfortunately, there are a couple of choices that kind of hinder me from putting this movie over the top. Well, that's it, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'm curious, folks, sound off in the comments below, but what are some movies that you would like to see me review? You guys are honestly the best. Look forward to more reviews coming up very soon. Thank you all so much once again. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence!